Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very sadly, this summit is going to come to a close. It was an opportunity to share amazing insights, to have debates, heated but friendly, to have conversations in a spirit of collaboration and mutual understanding and exchanges across the perimeters of each of our communities. We explored the age of possibility. We have gone through many different breakthroughs, scientific and technological, that shape the next 5, 10, 25 years. We have tried to raise the question of sovereignty and of trust in science and trust in each other. We have formed, or we are forming, communities of purpose by trying to work from knowing what the future has in front of us to acting upon it together. So as we bring this summit to a close, I would like to invite 3 distinguished guests on stage to share their reflections. I would like to start with Nathalie Fontanet, the State Councillor of the Canton of Geneva, to share with us her closing remarks on behalf of the canton.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear friends of science and diplomacy, we have reached the end of 3 intense days, 3 days during which we have done what few places in the world still know how to do: bring together in one space scientists who explore the frontiers of unknown, diplomats who negotiate our collective future, decision makers who shape our societies, and young people who will inherit the world we are building today. It is no accident that this takes place here in the Canton of Geneva. In 2019, when we co-created GESDA, the intuition was simple, yet bold. It rested on the idea that the 21st century global governance could no longer ignore the scientific revolutions that are transforming our reality. 6 years later, the evidence is undeniable. AI has invaded our daily lives. Drones have redefined warfare. Brain-computer interfaces are leaving the laboratories. Every day, a new scientific frontier is crossed, and every day we measure the widening gap between the speed of innovation and our collective capacity to govern it. This is precisely why GESDA exists, to bridge the gap. During this summit, you have explored territories that are both fascinating and dizzying. Neurotechnology that allows us to read thoughts, quantum computing that promises to revolutionize our relationship with computation and information, synthetic biology that rewrites the rules of life itself. These are not science fiction. These are tomorrow's realities, which we must anticipate today with the dual objective of avoiding being overwhelmed and giving ourselves the means to act. Ladies and gentlemen, science and diplomacy are today facing similar crises. Funding crisis, certainly, crisis of trust as well, and above all, crisis of legitimacy in their ability to provide solution in the face of our world growing complexity. When political leaders declare that they want uncontested global technological dominance, when universities are attacked for their academic freedom, when multilateralism is questioned by the very ones who have defined it from its most, we must ask ourselves hard questions. Your presence at this GESDA summit is the living answer to these mounting challenges. When scientists and diplomats engage in dialogue, when public and private sectors collaborate when different geographies of technological power come together. This is what I would call the very embodiment of what is most precious in our world, the capacity to seek solutions together that serve the common good. International is not an end in itself, but an instrument in service of humanity. Budget cuts, geopolitical tensions, and disinformation threaten this ecosystem, which survives only through the diversity, adaptability, and quality of interactions among its members. We know this, we live it. This is why initiatives like the Open Quantum Institute are so essential. It is about creating a technological common good before the race for dominance makes this impossible. The challenge is also to ensure that the benefits of quantum computing reach Global South as much as Silicon Valley. The responsibility extends to establishing governance structures before technology escapes our control entirely. You have discussed the growing role of philanthropy and the private sector in funding research and global action. When governments step back, should other actors fill the void? And if so, with what safeguards for the public interests? These are difficult questions, but this summit has shown us something important. Technology can also create new forms of solidarity. Blockchain, for instance, enables the tracing of humanitarian aid. AI offers the potential to optimize vaccine distribution. Innovation in service of the common good is a concrete possibility if we make the right choices. I was particularly moved by your session with the young participants. These young women and men who imagine possible future and reflect on the actions needed to shape them remind us of something fundamental. We are preparing their future. This is why representatives of the generation called to succeed us must take part in decisions. Forging the tools to understand the societal implications of technological disruption is an investment in tomorrow's governance. Ladies and gentlemen, as you leave this hall to return to your work, your enterprises, your organizations, I invite you to take with you the spirit of these 3 days, the spirit that views disciplinary silos as a luxury we can no longer afford. A spirit that affirms that science and diplomacy need each other, that recognizes anticipation as an act of collective responsibility, and a spirit that acknowledges that Geneva, despite the turbulence, remains that unique place where different worlds meet to build common solutions. We commit ourselves here in our canton to preserving this ecosystem. We will continue to build bridges between the science that explores and the politics who decide, between the innovation that disrupts and the humanity that must remain at the center, between the present that presses us and the future that awaits us. You have spoken this week of governing for global commons. There is no more accurate phrase to describe our collective task. The scientific discoveries to come, whether they concern our brains, our planet, or our computing capacity, are common goods of humanity. Their governance cannot be abandoned solely to geopolitical power dynamics or market logic. GESDA will continue to be this laboratory of anticipation, this place where we can still ask the right questions before being overwhelmed by urgency, this protected space where conversation remains possible. Thank you for your commitments. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for your presence. And above all, thank you for still believing that collective intelligence can triumph over the world's complexity. Science advances, the world changes, and together we can choose the direction.
Thank you very much, Councillor Fontanet, for these inspiring words and for reinforcing Geneva's role as a place that uniquely supports a dialogue between science, diplomacy, and the society. It is now my great pleasure to welcome back on stage our chairman of the Board of Directors, Peter Brabeck-Letmathe.
Well, thank you very much, Marlene, and thank you to all of you. And let me start perhaps my resume with the thanks. And the thanks, as I said, to the more than 1,000 in-person participants we had this year, in addition to all the ones who have joined us virtually. We had more than 90 speakers, which I would like to gratefully thank for their engagement they have. Thanks to the CERN for allows us to use this wonderful installation, and to my GESDA team, both for those who have done the 2026 radar, breakthrough radar, and those who are responsible to have facilitated the 5th annual summit of GESDA. I will be very short. I have tried to concentrate in my mind what I have heard over those 3 days. And what I have heard was very simple. I heard that we are living in a very fragmented world. I think this was just reconfirmed before. And we are confronting another phenomena, which is speed. Speed of science development, which we had not thought that it would be possible to be so high. And speed creates also fragmentation. It's not only the geopolitical fragmentation, but the speed of scientific development creates a fragmentation because not all can keep up with the speed, and the access to the benefits are not equal. That was one of the messages almost in every session came through very clearly. Therefore, I think if I look forward, equitable access seems to be a global priority. It cannot be that it is only for the favor of some privileged or for the elite. And for that, you mentioned many times science diplomacy is necessary. It's a justification why science diplomacy is growing. It is science diplomacy that would help to connect the fragmented world. And science diplomacy will have to do it by creating trust, by creating the cooperation, and by creating shared purpose. And I remember it was Fabiola in her intervention, she said the importance about, in order to achieve this, the importance about open science and collaborative approach. But even open science and collaborative approach are not enough if we are not assuring that we have a global capacity building. Because it is capacity building which will then allow that the equitable access is transformed into empowerment, into benefits for the people. And this, I think, comes directly to the heart of what GESDA is doing and why GESDA was created. It's turning anticipation into action. It is linking scientific foresight with diplomacy, and it is building a global capacity for a fairer, more equitable and inclusive future. Those are my summary from all the lessons I have heard, from all the things. I would say once more, thank you very much. And I can also announce that for next year, due to this fantastic success we had this year, we are going to make the summit even more meaningful. It will be much better. We will be much bigger. We will be able to invite more people. We will move to the Palexpo, which is a facility which allows us to really take care of you, invite younger people also, and we think we should have at least 1,800 people next year. And so that the feedback we are receiving from you can be even more meaningful. In this sense, once more, thank you very, very much to each one individually for participating, above all with this spirit, this constructive spirit which we have sent. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Peter, for these inspiring words and for sharing your reflections. They resonate very much with my own impressions of my very first summit as Director General. I've heard a huge amount of interest, enthusiasm, hope, drive to do more, drive to work with one another. So, and joy in meeting one another, going across our own perimeters of influence and of work to try to see other mindsets. I think this was a very human-centered summit. It was also very much focused on the contents, and I could also see a lot of the feedback that I got in the corridors and speaking to each of you about how much the richness of the contents and the diversity of the scientific topics, but also the diversity of voices was important to engage in this debate and have conversations that were meaningful and meant something new, meant that we could act, encouraged us to take it one step further, which I hope we will continue to do in the months to come. So in terms of the how this was made possible, I would like to celebrate the success and the spirit of the summit by indeed recognizing, as Peter has started to do, all the people that made the 3 days possible. This was months and months of tireless effort, of creativity, of commitment to make your journey as rich as ours, and that we all share a very positive 3 days together. I would therefore like to invite the entire GESDA team, those famous purple badges, on stage so we can properly applaud them as they so richly deserve. My colleagues, please come on stage. What a team, right? Thank you very much, everyone. Stay here because I would like to add some more people on stage, as the success was also thanks to those that are behind the scenes and may not have a purple badge that was so prominent, but were also there to make this event a huge success. The event and production partners, the technical crew, and the logistics team, please join us as well. So you just saw appear the EVA Global Events team, the illumination team for design and AV, and CERN, who has been hosting us brilliantly and made all these sessions seamlessly run and conducted in timely Swiss manner. Thank you so much. So this is now the time to officially close the GESDA Summit 2025. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your ideas, your insights, your inspiration, your work, your expertise, your wisdom, and your willingness to share it. It has been a wonderful 3 days where we have started to build or continue to build shared futures. I look forward with great anticipation, pun intended, to engage with you in the coming months, so you're not off the hook. The work is only starting, and we look forward to continue to engage with you and to welcome you back in Geneva, in Palexpo, closer to the heart of the city. Note the dates, October 14th to 16th, 2026. With this, let's close the summit and enjoy the time to go together outside and exchange one last time. Thank you very much.